And for this week's wine pick, we're focusing on the Vitkin Winery. Vitkin Winery is a family boutique winery located in the beautiful Sharon region in central Israel. The winery is a pioneer in the Mediterranean approach to producing original Israeli wines, and for the past 2 decades has been producing high-quality wines from Carignan to Cabernet Franc and Petit Syrah. Furthermore, the vineyard has taken an eco-friendly approach to winemaking, ensuring that all the stems, grape skins, and seeds that remain from the winemaking process are sent to nearby dairies for animal feed, while the remaining sediments are used as fertilizer in the vineyards. And so joining us now with more is Asaf Paz, enologist and proprietor at Vitkin Winery. Asaf, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
So what is this week's Wine of the Week?
So, the Wine of the Week is one of 2 very original wines that we are making. For the last 2 decades, we were making the old vine Carignan, which was, we were avant-garde of making it, and today everybody is making it because it was a very notorious vine until we showed that it could produce quality wine. And today I brought the Grenache Blanc, which is a very rare variety. Grenache is highly planted in Europe, but the albino or the white form of this variety is very rare. We're producing a varietal wine out of it, which is both delicious and very complex and unique. So this is our Wine of the Week for the hit that hit us.
And so, what more can you tell us about the winery, about the process of making your wines, and especially, as you mentioned, the Mediterranean approach?
So, I studied in Board of Faculty of Enology. I was the first Israeli to graduate and make the Diplôme National d'Enologue over there. But I traveled the world and I noticed that every region, every country has its own typicity. And back then in Israel, 100% of the quality wines were one of the fantastic 4, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Chardonnay, or Sauvignon Blanc. And I tasted fabulous wines from other varieties that are thriving in the hot climate, like Carignan, like Grenache, like Petit Syrah, and so on. And I decided to go and make wines from those varieties and not to touch or not to use the more popular varieties. Because I thought that making wine in a small family boutique winery like ours in Vitkin should be a little bit different and bring something else, like a gospel that need to be heard. And in the beginning, people laughed, and then they start to copy.
And what about the eco-friendly approach?
So we are all part of this planet, and we need to think on every process that we are making, not on the point of view how it will protect our vines, because we should protect our vine from pests and other things, but also how it's infect our health and the environment. My kids are playing in the vineyard. We pick mushrooms sometimes in nearby forests, and we need to think on the future generations. So everything that we are doing is as harmful as less to the environment, and we think ecologically. We're not organic, we're not biodynamic, we are ecological friendly, and we spray much less than others. And in most of our vineyards, we hardly use any irrigation, or sometimes even don't use any irrigation. And in Israel, it's very challenging, but guess what? The vines are very ancient. They know how to cope with the heat and the dryness, and they bring us much better quality with less use of water and more eco-friendly system.
Well, that's really a fascinating approach to winemaking. I see you've opened the bottle, so do you want to pour the glass?
Yeah, so we will pour the Grenache Blanc. It's grown in the Upper Galilee near Meron, and we add 10% of Macabeo. Macabeo is a Spanish variety. A lot of people say because it sounds a little bit like Maccabi, it probably came from our region to the Iberic Peninsula, which is could be very real. And we ferment it in French oak barrels. So you can join me and sample this wine. We ferment it in oak barrels, 500 liters. And the fact that we ferment it in oak barrels, which are large and used oak, contribute less aggressive oak notes to the wine. So we have much better fruit expression. We put a lot of effort in growing our fruits, in growing the grapes, and then we don't want to cover up the fruit with too much expression of oak. So it's adding to the complexity of and the texture, but you can feel the grape in the wine. So
and it has a lovely smell as well. L'chaim. All right, Asaf Paz, thank you so much for this week's Wine of the Week.
thank you so much for inviting me.